Rusty Burson. He is an Aggie historian. He's an author. He's a pretty good dude, Rusty Burson is. What's up, brother?
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
You know, summer's supposed to be slow. You know the cycle. You know, you were in media for a long time. And, you know,
Right.
summer, man, there's nothing going on, you know. And I look up, and the Spurs have the most epic meltdown in the history of meltdown kind. And
I enjoyed that, actually.
Aggie baseball gets a pitching coach, and then Aggie football gets a schedule. And I'm like, this is the greatest day ever. And you say you enjoyed it. Wait a minute. I thought you were a lifelong Spurs fan. I went to bed last night just thinking of you and hoping you were okay.
I am definitely not a Spurs fan. So, I mean, I was my license plate says DFW Teams. It's got the Mavericks logo on it. So just keep that in mind.
Is that a true story? Wait a minute, time. How do you not have a Rangers logo on your license plate? I am skeptical, to say the least.
I have a Rangers toll tag. I have a Rangers sticker on the back windshield, but I have the Mavericks logo on the license plate.
Interesting. How many? Okay, you know, the NBA's dead to me. There was a time growing up, I went to Rockets games all the time growing up in Houston. I was there when they introduced Clyde Drexler, when they traded for him, and the place went nuts like they just won a championship. I went to NBA Finals games both years they won their, you know, back-to-back championships. So, I mean, I was involved, but
before you go any further, I walked into the 19th hole several months ago, which is kind of like our men's area, and Clyde Drexler was at the table. He had played golf here and was having a few beers, and so I walked to him immediately. Didn't introduce myself to him at all. I just said, "That was a block. It was a block. It was a block. It was a block." He goes, "Are you talking about North Carolina State?" I was like, "Yes, I'm talking about North Carolina State." And he's like, "You're darn right, it was a block."
That is awesome, dude.
I love me some Phi Slam and Jamma now. That's when I fell in love with college basketball.
I grew up in Houston at the time, and I think they were bigger than any other team.
Oh, they were.
In Houston
they were
at the
huge.
time.
Yeah.
And I remember I got to go to some U of H basketball games. My
At
dad,
Hawthorne's?
yeah, my dad was real popular. He ran things, and you know, we didn't have any money. I used to say we were poor, but then I realized we paid all our bills. You're not poor until you're, you know,
Right.
not paying things. We just had no money left over after we paid bills. But my dad's the people he ran would give him tickets to sports because they knew I liked going to sports.
That's cool.
So we'd go to Astros games, and we went to U of H basketball games.
Yeah, those were fun times. Now, the fact that they didn't win a championship is just it's shameful. I mean, but if they had been able to shoot free throws, they would have won at least 2, maybe 3.
Yeah, and we could go through that whole history we could do our own 30 for 30 for 30 days. It was incredible. Yeah. A deep history, a rich history. The greatest dynasty that never was is how I explain Phi Slamma Jamma.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I think you're exactly right. I mean, the Buffalo Bills are right there with them, but...
Well, that's their own fault. You can't kick. Come on. That's just inexcusable dynasty.
Yeah, can't kick, can't hit free throws, so that's kind of similar, isn't it?
Oh, it's heartbreaking. But back to last night, you're a sports historian. I don't know how to make equivalency to other sports what the Spurs done because I don't know if there's equivalency.
I saw a comparison today, Falcons-Patriots.
But 29-point lead in the end. Well, it was Super Bowl. Okay. Because that's the other thing, the stage.
But that was late in the third quarter.
It's NBA Finals, man. Regular season, and I said this already, that I understand, actually, if you blew a 29-point lead in the regular season, you've got load management. You've got just bad teams. This is the NBA Finals.
I know. And that's why, honestly, Lou, it's people who you know, if the Mavericks were a couple years ago when the Mavericks were in the finals, I watched it from start to finish. But as just a casual fan now, I tune in the fourth quarter, and because
so you're just like the players.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, NBA, it doesn't really matter if you have a 22-point lead in the first half, or you know, that late in the game. Yeah, you certainly thought that the Spurs were going to take care of it, but. you just nothing surprises me in the NBA, especially when it comes to comebacks.
No, again, I don't watch the NBA anymore. It's been dead to me for like 10, 15 years. I don't watch a second of it. I got tired of the...
You and Chip both.
Well, the games are rigged.
Yeah, well, I can't really disagree. I mean, beyond the games, I think there's even more. I mean, the fact that the Mavericks traded Luka and then got the number 1 draft pick, you can't tell me that wasn't rigged.
That's where I got to go, aha! Yeah. But for people that doubt me, just Lou conspiracy, Oliver Stone Lou just full of garbage as usual, I get to go aha at moments like that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense. It absolutely doesn't make sense. Now, I love Cooper Flagg. He's going to be really, really good. I mean, he's not Luka, but he's going to be really good.
I was going to say, I know Luka, and he's no Luka.
Yeah, he's not very many here, Luka. But I will say, Cooper Flagg plays defense.
Well, defense is optional in the NBA. I don't know if you complimented him or what. I don't think that's a compliment.
Yeah, you're right there too.
So anyway, and it just the pain. Hold on, my chest hurts. The NBA is so painful. I'll move on. Hey, they have a pitching coach. What, Barry Enright?
Yeah, I don't know anything about him. I think hopefully he's a good one. I do worry that he was part of the Angels organization.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
Wow.
That's a bad organization. And they have been.
Okay, are they a bad organization, or do they just have one of those worst owners in MLB situation?
I think that's the case, yeah, worst owners. But unfortunately for them and their fans, they're a bad organization. I mean, they should be right there with the Yankees and the Dodgers with the resources they have. And they did have the 2 greatest players on the planet on the same team for years and never even made the playoffs. So it's a bad organization.
Yeah, I've always said that one of the most hardest things in all is judging baseball assistants. Football is easy.
Yeah,
every football coach has a grade. Dave Bartu calls football matrix. Facts. Basketball actually is, I think you can get a great feel, but in baseball, man, there's no way to translate till it happens.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, I've seen some great pitching coaches, and are they really great pitching coaches, or do they have really great pitchers? It's hard to judge that. I agree. It's so much easier to judge an offensive coordinator. I think that's the most valuable position in all assistant coaches. I mean, to me, and it's the one where the average fan can judge it, right? Okay, Greg Maddox's brother, Mike Maddox, was pitching coach for the Rangers for many, many years. I don't know if he's a great pitching coach. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes they had really good pitching, sometimes they didn't. I don't know how much he meant to that staff. And there's so many we could go through. It's a very, very good point you made. I don't think it's very easy to judge baseball assistants.
Man, no. Their results will be on the field too, even more so. That's the only way you can judge. And when the season starts, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, Michael Early relies on his pitching coach. I don't think he's very interfering or meddling. So how they manage their substitution patterns, when they're going to pull guys and things like that, that's going to be on Enright.
Yeah, I think you're right. And, I think you see head football coaches who are defensive guys, right?
Yep.
Well, they don't typically interfere with the offense, right? The offense coordinator. So the defensive coordinator for a head coach who's a defensive guy is not as important, right? I mean, I think Elko kind of showed that, right? When, the defense improvements, and he was kind of the guy, the play caller, so to speak, of the defense. Whereas, everybody knew who was in charge of the offense. And I don't think Elko was having anything to do with the offense.
Right.
So I think the most valuable position, I guess, in all of assistants and in anything that I can think of is that person who is not is opposite expert of the head coach. If that makes any sense.
If you have that power, if it's true and it appears that way, and that's the one thing that frustrated me for 2 years is that it seemed like pitching changes were based on the scoreboard. There was zero feel for knowing your pitcher. Because you can pull a pitcher before he gives up the 3-run home run.
And you and I both know that the master of that, he's in Austin. Or actually, he's in Omaha. But he was the master of that, knowing when to pull a pitcher.
Yep. Again, you know when he's done. You're with them every day in practice. You see every bullpen session. You know when they're done. You don't have to wait for the scoreboard to dictate when a pitcher's done.
Yep. I totally agree.
So, anyway, if he brings that alone, do you know how much better this pitching staff can be?
Yeah.
Just that one concept.
Well, and the second thing is you're going to have to go get some new pitchers, too. I mean, we could see some great improvement, but we also need to see some new bodies out there.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. Going forward to next year from the A&M pitching staff, right? So, I'm going to go at the top end. And on the top end, you're going to have Aiden Sims, and you're going to have, oh, my God, my brain hurts now, closer, who'll be Friday nights next weekend.
Oh, yeah. Well, can't I think of a brain
It hasn't
fart.
been that long since the season ended.
No. Fresh corn. Thank you. I mean, just...
And that, so you got Friday, Saturdays covered on the weekend. And those are the two that I would say are like your guaranteed money. And that's Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean...
Moss, Lyons, and Hunter Vincent are guys that you believe in some form, and one of them could take Sunday, but in some form will be key contributors.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That I think Moss is. I mean, he's got a chance to be a very good one. And I mean, is Cooper Powell coming back?
Cooper Powell had too small of a data size, and he looked good, but we need a lot more data, don't you? I mean, am I being too harsh?
No, you're not being too harsh. I was just saying Cooper Powell because the one game that I went to together, he was awesome, right?
He was phenomenal. And he had more good appearances after, and he had only one rough. I was grading the appearances we caught because he got more after. Only one was on the side, and the rest were actually really good. So more data, and I want more data. But I'm just trying to go with guys that can be SEC weekend relevant right now.
Right.
So I think there's a base. They obviously need more, but
so
there's
you
a
want
base.
fresh corn in the rotation?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
If you don't have starters, man, your bullpen's so devalued.
I mean, he looked really good in the one start he made, right? I mean, I think he got left in there one inning too long.
It's the same question Texas had, with Valentis, where he was the closer of the year his freshman year?
Yeah, I mean, if you can make that transition, and I know there's a lot of guys who've done it, and there's a lot of guys who haven't. I'm thinking about major leagues, but I've seen a lot of guys go from the closer to starters and become really, really good starters. But there's also the opposite, too.
Roy92 texted and said fresh corn is draft eligible, and Texas believes he's gone. So
okay, well, I appreciate it, Roy. I hadn't been paying attention to the draft eligibility.
I knew he was draft eligible. I've heard that before. And as far as the gone, not gone, if he came back as a starter, and if that is actually his future, how many rounds would he improve? Because I've been looking at mock drafts, and he's not in the first 2 rounds.
No, I haven't seen him anywhere in any mock drafts that I've been looking at. And I think, these days you can make a lot more money just by coming back. And you're not riding crappy buses and staying in crappy hotels in the minor league system. So,
and you don't have to spend 4 years in the minors anymore.
No, you absolutely do not. We've seen that over and over again. I mean, watching the Royals and Rangers last night, I was like, between Langford and Caglione, that was 4 years ago. That was their, or actually, it was 3 years ago. That was their star outfield at Florida, and now they're both playing against each other in major leagues.
So, I mean, okay, if he's projected to be gone, then that's even a deeper hole. What you need to go get, because if I'm doing this, I go get my weekend in the portal. I don't sit here and project anyone.
No,
I don't know
you
if you project.
You have to.
Because we're talking about Moss and Lyons. Well, if they're both in the bullpen or they're both throwing on Tuesdays, that means you're a top 10 team in the country. What's wrong with being a top 10 team in the country? Don't project a single thing. Go get money in the bank. And if Lyons and Moss are your fourth and fifth starters, then go win a national championship.
Yep. Yeah, I absolutely agree. But you also have a whole lot of offense you got to replace now. I mean, let's be realistic. Because,
man, one problem at a time here.
No, I mean, that was a historic group of offensive players. So they got a lot to replace. And so that, to me, I'm with you. You've got to get in the portal. And, I mean, we're looking at a World Series with Troy. I mean, so I saw a whole bunch of these so-called mid-majors throughout the college playoffs, and it's fascinating to see, because there's talent at every level. And if you look at the major leagues and you go into, like, where did these guys go to school, it's so interesting because so many of these guys went to smaller schools that you had not heard of.
Oh, there's talent spread out all over.
Yeah.
Part of NIL, roster limits, and more. Got a quick headline to share. It was an email lunchtime. But Nico Pertita, Jorian Wilson, they were All-Americans from freshman All-Americans, according to Perfect Game, freshman All-American list.
Not surprising at all.
Exactly.
Fantastic, yeah.
Let's grab a quick timeout, brother. Let's just come back. You want to hang out some more?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm in. Rusty Burson, Aggie historian and author, hanging out with us on the D4 Land Services hotline. And you need your land cleared. You need your land excavated. D4landservices.com. You need your land fixed up, forestry, mulching, pond construction. Check out D4landservices.com. I'll be right back. It is the Louie Bellina Show Thursday. It is the Louie Bellina Show on the Zone.
Start your Sunday mornings with the best week ever from ESPN Radio. Yes! Listen in from 6 to 9 on the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
The Louie Bellina Show. Inside the Charles Schwab studio, I am. But to hang out with my friends, sometimes it's just a phone call away. And for a lot of people, they didn't even know that you could talk to people on your phone. That's where they surf the internet kind of stuff and make videos. No. You can use your phone to actually talk to people. And we're hanging out with Rusty Burson on the D4 Land Services hotline.
Hey, Lou, I was looking something up during the timeout to the point where so many great major leaguers come from small little schools. I'm gonna throw Stetson at you. They have three of the most dominant pitchers in the last 20 years in Major League Baseball came from Stetson. Corey Kluber, Jacob deGrom, and Logan Gilbert.
Holy cow! I never would have guessed that. Okay, but I believe it. Look, I believe that. I'm familiar with the concept. Very.
Yeah. So now more than ever, you could look across the board when you go into the portal, and not just at the bigger name schools.
If you can identify it, because part of that is you see someone at one of those levels, and they can have the great numbers, but you're going to sit there and dismiss it because of the conference they're in, and you have to be able to translate that and go, does it play in the SEC?
Yeah, you've got to go see these guys. You just can't take. You have to have video of these guys. You have to see it because you have no idea what the level of competition is. However, it's better and better and better. And you and I have talked about this. This is the good old days. This is the best college baseball has ever been in terms of talent on the field.
Is it because of the development at the youth level, or
it's all about NIL?
What's the why?
It's all about NIL and it's about the fact that now you can recruit kids, lower income kids, who you could never recruit before because they couldn't afford the partial scholarship. Well, now you pay them for a full ride. And now they don't have to go into professional baseball right away because they can't afford a college education. It is changing the game so dramatically, and that's why I think this is the most elite college baseball has ever been.
I agree with the most elite it's ever been. And okay, and pitchers are getting the short end of the stick because we're kind of swinging the other way offensively, I feel like. Because we're not quite gorilla ball. I mean, we're not even close, actually.
No.
But we're moving away where pitchers are having a harder time.
Yeah, I agree. But, I mean, we talked about this earlier. It's like that's why so many times when I was growing up, I was like, why do they draft high school players? Why do they draft high school players? Well, the major leagues are more and more and more are drafting the college players because they know these guys are far more developed than they used to be in so many cases. And so, that's why we still have a chance for Fresh Corn to come back because A&M can offer him the money to come on back. And then hopefully he becomes that first, second, third rounder that I don't see him projected at right now.
Yeah, it's one of those, and the draft is not that far ahead. And you know what? You don't know. Maybe, look, a lot of times, maybe Fresh Corn just ready to start his clock. Maybe he thinks he can pitch his way to the majors fast. Maybe he doesn't want to start. Maybe he wants to be a reliever in MLB. I don't know the entire story playing into that. Again, he might not want to start.
No, I mean, he might see himself as a future great closer in the majors.
Josh Hader.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I mean,
there's a lot.
Look at how much money Josh Hader has made.
Okay. He's not broke.
No, I mean, they're so valuable. Closers are so valuable in the major leagues because, I mean, the hardest 3 outs are in the ninth inning.
I'm sorry. I paused. Michael Allen Kleber in Blackjack, Texas, texted and said, Louie, I don't know why everyone is shocked that the Spurs blew a 29-point lead when today's NBA no longer plays defense.
It's exactly what you said, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the flow. It just, everything with that, it's the next day. And I'm struggling with all the concept involved.
It almost feels like Texas A&M versus UCLA.
Oh, no, I wasn't shocked.
I wasn't shocked either.
So, you see, this one is complete and utter shock, and the other one is like it's Aggie football.
Exactly.
I mean, and then the explanations in the post-game press conference with that one, well, he was a first-time quarterback. We were practicing. You idiots. You freaking idiot. That was remember that? That was the explanation. Yeah. He needed the practice. Yes, but once it was obvious practice time was over, why did you keep practice? Like, never mind. Leave the ghost in the past.
Yep, he's not here anymore.
Oh, my head. It hurts just thinking. Ow. Why, Rusty?
I'm sorry. Hey, the opposite extreme will always be you and I. I mean, how in the world? Texas A&M made an incredibly historic comeback. On the other hand, you and I threw that ball away so many times to enable A&M to come back. It was crazy. So many mistakes they made. If they just hadn't made one of them, it wouldn't have happened.
NCAA tournament time?
Yeah.
Oh, that was even as it was okay. So being a part of both sides of those kind of moments, right? When we go to you and I, even it was happening. I remember my feeling like it wasn't real, even as it was happening.
Yeah, me too. I was like, well, this is going to be a closer game than it was going to be. It's going to be look better. The loss is going to look better than it was, and then it wasn't until the very end that I was like, oh my gosh, that happened. And then, by the way, they had to come back in overtime too.
Yep. Capital WAHT what?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right.
Again, as it's happening, like, and you were saying, like, they're making close. I'm sitting there going, like, I love a team, and when I root for teams, I do root for certain traits and stuff, and I do want the team that's going to fight to the last second. Yeah. I want a team that has no quit. I mean, I want to be proud of the teams I root for. I'm not very Texas Tech oriented.
I'm with you there, 100%. The classless clowns have struck again now.
That was you, right? Am I misremembering?
That was me.
I mentioned it earlier, and this week more than ever, I believe that line is appropriate.
Yeah, that was me, and it made the New York Times. It was everywhere. It was never supposed to make it to the media guide, but it did.
could you share? I know you've shared it before, but isn't this week the proper time for story time?
Yeah, so it was early 2000s. Texas Tech had shoved the goalpost into the A&M section. One of the people who got hit was Mike McKinney, father of Seth McKinney, who was on that team. And it was an awful, awful scene. So at the end of the year, with 12-Man Magazine, we did a best and worst. And so the best atmosphere, I can't remember what year, was at Kyle Field. It was incredible. But the worst atmosphere, I said, was in that barren stretch of dirt called Lubbock, where the classless clowns proved, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I referred to them as the classless clowns. And we sent Homer Jacobs, the late great Homer Jacobs, sent all of our game stories to the A&M Sports Information Department, and they used our game stories. Well, he inadvertently sent that to them as well, and that made the media guide. And so when it made the media guide, it went national. And the president of A&M had to apologize to the president of Texas Tech, and RC called me into, he was livid about that, and I was trying to tell him, well, it wasn't supposed to go in there. Well, and then that summer, I had to call Mike Leach to do a preview for Athlons, and when he called me back and left a voicemail, he was like, hey, Rusty, this is the president of the Classless Clowns, Mike Leach. Can't wait to talk to you. And so he made fun of it, and he was like, I tried to explain to him. I was like, Coach, I'm so sorry. He's like, oh, that's great, man. I thought it was funny. You can bet it's going to be in the bulletin board this year. Oh, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I was just never supposed to make it to the media guide. And then the year after that, when we went back to Lubbock, I was shocked and amazed at how many of the Texas Tech fans were dressed as clowns.
No.
Oh, yeah, there were hundreds and hundreds of students dressed as clowns when A&M played Texas Tech the next time in Lubbock.
Why do I feel like I never knew that part? Like, I've heard this for 50 years, and like, wait a minute, either I don't recall, don't remember, or it skipped my memory, but I didn't know that part.
Yeah, they turned out in mass, the clowns did.
Bring out the clowns. Bring out the clowns. And
it's the most famous 2 words I've ever written.
Classless. So, you are an author, and God, you're a great author. The thing that I've read, I don't want to say so much of what you've read. You've written like 78 books or something, and you've written many. And just in general, because you could tell that you write about what you love, like you get into it and all.
Absolutely.
And are you okay with that being your legacy?
Yeah, I mean, I have lots of different legacies. I guess the big legacy I want to be is, the man of faith and the husband and father. But yeah, as far as writing, I'm okay with that.
The classless clowns being the Rusty Brooks.
Yeah.
So looking back, so Rusty, what are you known for? Classless clowns.
That's me. And by the way, later this month, my son is getting married to a beautiful young lady who happens to be a Texas Tech grad.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I told her about that, and she thought that was rather hilarious.
Oh, she's just an innocent bystander in this story.
Yeah. She was a wee little lad or young little girl when I wrote those. Yeah, when I wrote those famous words.
Oh, great father, man of faith, loyal husband, classless clowns.
There you go.
That's going to be a big tombstone. Is that all going to fit? We're going to have to use the backside.
Yeah, I hope so.
Be awesome, brother. Thank you always. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Great to catch up. You watching College World Series? Are you one of those that can watch beyond A&M baseball? You going to be watching this weekend?
Oh, yeah. I got to watch in Omaha for sure.
Go whoever's playing Texas. Georgia, go Bulldogs.
And then on the other side, in football season, don't play Texas Tech. Just don't play them.
I agree. Oh, okay. We're at a little out of time. I don't want to keep you too long, but that's the one thing I love this week where the teams, and I hope it's just not talk and people puffing out their chest. I think it's the simplest solution in the world because a court can't make you play someone.
Right, boycott Tech.
Big 12 teams are talking.
Those are my next two words, boycott Tech.
Boycott Tech. Conference, you have to play them. Other than Big 12 teams that don't have a choice, nobody play them. Period. End of conversation.
I agree.
Be awesome.
See you, bud.
Rusty Burson, Aggie historian and author, joining us on the D4 Land Services hotline. We catch up, we hang out. If you ever need like a metal building, but like a custom metal building at D4 Land Services, they do custom metal buildings from the ground up. And if you'd like to get more information on that and, well, everything they do, go to d4landservices.com. d4landservices.com.
The Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. Don't ask unless you want the truth, because you can't handle the truth. Weekdays, 11 to 2 on The Zone.
We are in the summer edition of the Louie Bellina Show, which means, well, if you hang out with me Monday through Thursday, what does that mean? We'll come back to that. If you hang out with me Monday through Thursday, you can win family 4-packs to Moody Gardens, family 4-packs to Hawaiian Falls, family 4-packs to Splashtown, and also Rudy's Barbecue. That's summertime to me. Make memories with your family, go with your friends, but just go live, have fun. But also, by the way, that's the ticket booth opening. It's open right now. You've got 20 minutes left to text me. We'll blind draw at 2 o'clock. And here's the thing. Sometimes I give away family 4-packs to all 4. It's not just one. It's just like, hey, let's have fun. It's summer. This is where we rest, relax, recharge, get ready for the fall. And again, just have fun with friends. So you can text for another 20 minutes. All Zone, Brian Broadcasting Prize, eligibility rules, they apply. I want to say, of course, they apply. Dixie Tire Company, they fix flats. They do tire and wheel rotations, tire pressure sensor repair, or they just replace your tire pressure sensors. Dixie Tire Company can help. They're located 301 West William Joel Bryant Parkway. That's in historic downtown Bryan. And they're open Monday through Friday till 6. I love they're open Saturday till 1. You work all week, Saturdays. And you can always call them at 775-TIRE, T-I-R-E. Text 979-693-1150. Now, part of the summer edition of the Louie Bellina Show, Fridays, I'm not here. June and July. I take 3-day weekends. I go travel, find barbecue. Haven't been to barbecue. I got to eat, go out of town. Sometimes I just sleep late and go, wow, this is what 10:30 feels like. Whatever. Just go live life. Caleb Rapoli. Did I say that right, Jeanette? Did I get his last name right?
Rapoli.
Did I?
Yeah.
He'd be so proud right now. I think that's the first time I got his name right this year. So Caleb will be hosting Fridays, and Caleb, good dude. He is a sports junkie. Holy cow. Caleb will be hosting Fridays in June. I have a special guest announcement coming up. I'm keeping it a secret. I already know who. For July, though. Yesterday kind of confirmed that. That's going to be fun. So there you go. Programming service announcement. Headlines as we head down the stretch. Things that caught my attention. They don't need 20 minutes, but USC, the Trojans, football, they elevated Connor McQuisiton. That sounds like a fake name, doesn't it? To new director of AI. It is believed that's the first of its kind in major college football. Now, first off, his name sounds like it was created by AI, McQuisiton, but it's the modern direction of things. What does a director of AI even do? Over the past year, McQuisiton worked on projects focused on opponent scouting, tendencies, similar matters. A source that kind of shared this with The Athletic said the program is going to continue to hire people to bolster its analytics as a result of this move. So he's the start of their AI department, which analytics. There's always been analytics, but AI analytics. A Power 4 front office staffer told The Athletic that their school has worked with an AI company that's been talk of deploying AI to filter recruits, help with graphics. Again, the actual benefit of AI, to what degree and level, this is uncharted territory. But USC, the Trojans, the forefront, definitely the first to announce a director of AI. Headlines, things that have caught my attention. The University of Florida is undergoing the most expensive stadium project in college football history. The price tag is believed to be get ready for it, $1.45 billion. $1.45 Florida Gators athletic director Scott Strickland shared that with the Board of Trustees earlier today. His presentation went before a committee. They approved the plans. Now, is it going to be finalized and all that? But holy cow. Now, Strickland was clear. They don't want to reinvent the swamp. Matter of fact, and this is something that caught me off guard, they don't want to touch capacity. They don't want to alter the bowl or the winged wings. They want to modernize the stadium. The swamp opened in 1930. You can imagine it needs some updating. What they want to do is add premium seating, expand the concourses, bathrooms, enhance the entry points and concession areas. Now, you take a look at a Texas A&M and even some other SEC, Penn State capacity. And you're Florida, which you would figure you could compete capacity-wise, we'll say crowd attendance with A&M and Alabama, right? I have no idea why they would not want to increase capacity. Maybe that was too cost prohibitive, but you're spending $1.45 billion, and I understand the dollar right now isn't as strong as it used to be. Maybe you can't get the same amount for $1.45 billion, that's a B, that you used to, but there's no capacity. Oh, by the way, their capacity is 88,548, which is nice and precious, but I don't know if that's big boy anymore. If you want to compare, because this is, again, the most expensive stadium project in college football history at $1.45 billion. Currently, Penn State is renovating Beaver Stadium, $700 million. Adjust for inflation, $750. In the Athletic article that kind of hit on this, A&M's overhaul was mentioned because it's one of the greatest that ever happened, actually. But that was a decade ago, and it was $484 million. Inflation, $690. And Florida is doing 1.45, and they're not expanding capacity. Okay. Another headline I saw that I believe it was actually more from yesterday than today. ESPN, or maybe it was even Tuesday. Hey, it all starts to blur, man. After watching the Spurs, I didn't watch. After getting caught up and seeing even the how, that I did. The Spurs blew a 29-point lead. Time stops. The shock, the horror, your head spins, the realization. Woo! You don't come back from some things. So, excuse me. But still, ESPN, Pat McAfee, have negotiated a new deal, and the sources are saying it could pay him over $60 million per year. And in the new ESPN world, the E is the only letter that matters. Sports doesn't. Programming, if it's NFL, does. A network, yeah, they're a network. I mean, duh, right? But it's the E. And he is the face of the E. He is the most successful E they have. He has transcended. He is everything they want. And is that good? Is that bad? That's a whole different debate and conversation. But I'm going to ask a question that kind of gets to the heart. And it's not something that's original for me. I saw this, the interwebs, Twitter, X, Facebook. I don't know the where, but this isn't from me originally. So the thought, I don't know about experiment, but the thought debate is, would ESPN be better off paying Pat McAfee $60 million per year or paying expert analysts, 60 of them, $1 million? What is a better ESPN? Now, what they believe is obvious. I've talked about it. Every time they have budget cuts, they fire reporters and they fire analysts and they fire their experts. Anyone with the E, job is safe. Stephen A. Smith, Pat McAfee got $60 million. Of course they have another round of firings coming. How are they going to pay them? But so ESPN has answered what's better. It's Pat McAfee, but what would be a better? And with ESPN having like 20, 30, 40 channels, whatever it is, couldn't they have one channel that's E and the other one that's S? So you'd have the entertainment and then the sports channel, but they don't believe that the sports is the exact sports means play by play and E is everything else. But which version of ESPN do you think would be better, quote unquote, which is a relative word? Pat McAfee making $6 million or hiring experts, the best analysts, 60 of them at $1 million a year? I thought that was a fun play with that in your head. When we come back, I got to say goodbye. I got to wrap things up. Final thoughts, final text messages, the final moments. No, that's way too dramatic. Whoa, easy there. We'll just wrap up the Louie Bellina Show on a Thursday. The Louie Bellina Show presented by CC Electric. Built on faith, community, and family. CC Electric. The Louie Bellina Show, Thursday on The Zone.
We are going. Are you ready? The Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Our blood, our sweat, their tears.
Okay, it's time.
Oh, here we go!
Let's go! It is the Louie Bellina Show. I'll be back Monday at 11 because, again, Fridays, June, July, I'm not here. The Louie Bellina Show goes on. Hang out with Caleb. He's a good kid. He has a lot of fun, and that's all I ask for. But before we go out the door, kind of like final thoughts, Braden Montgomery, he had that historic debut on Tuesday. What was the encore? 2 for 4 pair of doubles. Scored a run, living his best life. Houston Astros. I keep going in and out, and I want to believe, but like the cold, hard realist in me knows that this is worthless. They just lost a series to the Angels. 5-4 in extra innings last night, and I've talked about Espada throughout the year, and like you can't hold him accountable due to injuries, and I think I'm ready to move on from Espada, and I'm going to be very specific on the why. Like what has made you take a stand, yes or no? His management with Abreu, he's the only person that cares about the Astros at all that does not acknowledge that Abreu is not himself, should not be putting in high leverage situations. And they're at this delicate part that with the slow start, you can't leak runs. And this is like the second time in 2 weeks. It's made no sense. His usage of Abreu, and Abreu took the loss in 10. And yeah, I'm ready to move on from Espada. Because I kind of think of it, I can't point to the things that he does that are positives, but these little negatives pop up. So I just kind of think no matter what, you won't lose ground with a new manager, but you might actually gain. Look, in regulation, the Astros only scored 2 runs. The offense is as much to blame as anything Brian Abreu, but I'm watching Espada not understand where Abreu is this year. So I'm ready to move on. Rangers won in extras 6-4. Great game. If you're a Rangers fan, run in the 7th, tied in the 8th, 2 in the top of the 10th, 6-4. Great win in Kansas City. Great win. And early on, they got down, what was it? They got down, was it 4-0? Leaking runs all over the place. It wasn't quite 4-0, but they got down early leaking runs. My final thought as we head to the weekend, if I've taught you nothing else today, I'm sorry, that's so cheesy. Don't be San Antonio. That's my final thought. If you learn nothing else, if I can give you no other advice as we head towards the weekend, don't be San Antonio. This is the Louie Bellina Show. Have a great weekend. Peace.
You can hear the Paul Feinbaum Show weekdays 2 to 4 here on The Zone. Presented by Polaris Fun Center. Paul Feinbaum is SEC Country. And Aggieland is SEC Country too. Join Paul weekdays 2 to 4 here on The Zone. Polaris Fun Center sells and service Polaris ATVs, Rangers, Razors, Global Electric Cars, Brutus, and the Polaris Slingshot. Polaris Fun Center, where they sell and service fun, not tractors. The voice of the SEC. And you can hear Paul Feinbaum weekdays 2 to 4 here on The Zone.